The X-Men movies as we know them are coming to an end, but the series did lay much of the groundwork for our modern superhero movie landscape. So what better time to assess these past 19 years of mutant madness, the good, the bad, and the origins. Let's rank the X-Men movies. Rather than truly dive into Logan's deep backstory, Hugh Jackman's first solo outing as the Clawed One is like X-Men Light, overstuffed with mutant characters it's hard to care about, dull, and too divergent from key aspects of the comics. I mean, that's supposed to be Deadpool?
Wait, is that you?
If only we could take an amnesia bullet too. Apocalypse marginalizes key relationships, particularly Xavier and Magneto's, in favor of establishing new ones like Scott and Jean's. Problem is, the new, younger cast doesn't have much impact, and Apocalypse fails to develop into a meaningful antagonist in his own right. He's very colorful, though.
No more superpowers.
The Last Stand has its moments, but adapting the more revered aspects of the comics is not among them. And the film unfortunately feels cheap at times, clearly suffering from the last-minute director swap that saw Brett Ratner come aboard. The classic Dark Phoenix saga is one of the most heart-wrenching, epic tales in X-Men history, but it's a complete loss as depicted here. Did someone mention the Dark Phoenix saga? Feel like it might have been me just now. It's 2 strikes and you're out in this case, as writer-director Simon Kinberg respins some of his ideas around the Jean Grey story that he first attempted in The Last Stand, which he also co-wrote. While this film manages to be less abrasive than the earlier tale, it's still an unmoving, murky last stand for the core X-Men movie franchise. Wade Wilson's second solo film is short on plot while also managing to be crasser, gorier, and funnier than its predecessor, which is pretty much what you want from a Deadpool movie. And yet, despite the character's trademark flippancy, there's a real unexpected warmth to Deadpool 2 as well. Also worth an honorable mention on this list is Once Upon a Deadpool, the PG-13 re-edit of Deadpool 2. Ryan Reynolds' marquee character really works best in his full R-rated glory, but for anyone who wants the neutered version, the Merc with a Mouth is there for you.
Hey, easy, sugar mouth. This thing will go all day, all right? Lithium-ion batteries.
No.
The original X-Men deserves credit for helping to shape the then-fledgling modern superhero film genre. And yet, looking at it today, the budget strains against the very notion of mutant superpowers. Costumes beyond leather duds were off limits, and the finale feels small. But still, this was the X-Men in live action, and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine was a win in and of itself.
We are grateful for your protection of Mariko, but there's one more sacrifice you must make for her family.
Go f*** yourself, pretty boy.
After the X-Men Origins mess, there was a lot at stake for Hugh Jackman in Wolverine's second solo film. But working with director James Mangold, they nailed it. The Wolverine takes the haunted, immortal Logan off on his own adventure, giving him an almost James Bond-like arc that is exciting and mostly grounded, if you don't count the giant CG samurai suit in the third act. Days of Future Past, much like its mutant heroes, beat the odds and successfully merged the casts of both the original X-Men series and the First Class team, while also deftly and smartly adapting this classic comic story. This is also the most epic of X-Men films, a time-spanning, ambitiously rendered conflict. Too bad the continuity reboot the film culminates with was mostly wiped away in the subsequent films.
Welcome back.
Whose did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with pulverine.
After his X-Men Origins near miss, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool was successfully revived on the big screen in this hit movie full of amusing one-liners, stylish action, and heaps of fan service. Weak villains and an unsatisfying revenge plot ultimately hold it back from being something more distinctive, but Deadpool delivers a large dose of unwholesome fun.
Excuse me, I'm Eric Lensher.
Tell Xavier.
Go f*** yourself.
The X-Men franchise was in trouble after The Last Stand and X-Men Origins, but First Class rejuvenated the series with a prequel, semi-reboot approach that featured all new actors in a tale of Xavier and Magneto's early days. The arrival of then-on-the-cusp stars Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, and James McAvoy proved to be invaluable casting, and Kick-Ass director Matthew Vaughn brought a fresh, stylish, and exciting feel to the aging franchise, allowing it to rise from the creative ashes, yes, like a phoenix.
I want you by my side. We're brothers, you and I.
We're here to stay, Mr. President. The next move is yours.
We'll be watching.
X2 took the world created in the first film and broadened it, while also hinting at grander things to come. With the core cast now established and mostly beloved by viewers, X2 is also full of great action sequences while also getting to the heart of the X-Men's thematic strength, the idea of outcasts. Outcasts hated and feared by a world they are sworn to protect, and we love them for it.
You want to die. Charles told me.
What else did he tell you?
Do not let you.
The final story of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is in some ways the film many fans long wanted, replete with R-rated violence, adult language, and earth-shattering, gut-wrenching revelations. And yet, it's also so much more than that, serving as a meditation on the very nature of superhero stories and the comic book movie genre itself. Logan is an emotional, heavy picture, but it's also an uplifting one. It's an amazing swan song for the Wolverine character and for Jackman, and it's also the best of the X-Men movies. For more on the X-Men, check out our review of Dark Phoenix as well as all the WTF questions we had about it. And make sure you check out IGN.com/merch for exclusive new designs, available this week only.